of light. First of all, we'll see what is reflection of light. The reflection of light is the phenomena of bouncing back of light. That is bouncing back of light in the same medium. Means whenever light strikes on any surface, it reflects back in the same medium. That phenomena is called as the reflection of light. Now here we will see some basic terms which are related with the reflection of light. Suppose for example, we'll consider a surface on which total light, whatever falls on it, will reflect back. This is the light which falls on the surface, and here the light ray which falls on the surface, that is called as incident ray. We know that what is a ray? A ray that represents the light, and this is the direction. So this light, when it falls on the surface, this is called as the incident ray. Now here, wherever the light incidents, that is called as the point of incidence. Now on this point of incidence, we always have to make a normal line. A normal line, that will be a dotted line. You can say that's an imaginary line that makes an angle of 90 degrees with the surface. This line is called as normal line. Okay, now from the same point of incidence, whenever this light falls, it will reflect back in the same medium, which is called as the reflection of light. Now this light which is moving back in the same medium, that is called as reflected light. Okay, so we have here incident ray, reflected light, or reflected ray we can say more exactly, and this is normal line. Now here we have an angle which is formed between the incident ray and the normal line. This angle we are giving name it as I. This is called as angle of incidence. The angle which is formed between the incident ray and the normal line, that is called as angle of incidence. Similarly, this angle which is between the reflected ray and the normal line, that is called as R. We are representing it with R, that is called as angle of reflection. So here we have 5 different terms: incident ray, reflected ray, normal line, angle of incidence, and angle of reflection. This is what the basics of reflection is. Now we have talked about the reflection. Now we have different types of reflection. Types of reflection. The first one is regular reflection. Now what is this regular reflection is? In this regular reflection, whenever light falls on well polished and smooth surface, that type of reflection is called as regular reflection. This is based on the surface what we are selecting, that is well polished and smooth surface. A well polished and smooth surface, we have the best example of that surface, that is called as a mirror. A mirror is a well polished and smooth surface. So from that mirror, whatever the reflection is taking place, that is called as regular reflection. Now we will see here how a mirror is formed. You might have seen in the mirror, whenever you see in morning, उसमें आप क्या देखते हो कि जब आप उस कांच को पीछे की तरफ ले जाकर पीछे से उसको देखोगे, तो आपको दिखेगा वहां पर कि that is painted with a red paint or some blue paint. तो जब आप उसको हल्का सा वहां से उस ब्लू पेंट को निकालोगे, तो नीचे से वहां पर आपको दिखेगा either silver color, or you might also find aluminium. Because silver, that's very costly, so we are also using a coating of aluminium, because that is a very good reflector of light. You can say that reflects almost all the light which is falling on it. So first of all, we will take a plain glass. We will take a plain glass sheet, and on that plain glass sheet we will paint it with either silver or aluminium. Generally we will use aluminium, and to protect that silver or aluminium layer, we will paint it with red coating or any color that you want. So we'll get a mirror, and that can be used for the regular reflection. Now how a mirror is represented? Representation of mirror. That is simply straight line. We have slant lines here. We'll give it name as M and M dash. This is the polished surface, or you can say that is the back of the mirror, and this is the part of the mirror from which reflection takes place. That is reflecting surface. This is how a mirror is represented. Now here in case of regular reflection, we have used one term, that is if the reflection is taking place from well polished and smooth surface, that is called as regular reflection. Now we have one more definition of this regular reflection. Now what the definition is: if we have a well polished and smooth surface, and if parallel light rays are falling on it, you can say parallel beam. So these are the parallel light rays which are falling on the mirror. Now if these light rays, they remains even parallel after reflection of light, then that is called as regular reflection. Like here in this case, this is the reflected ray, again one more reflected, again one more reflected. So this is the parallel incident beam, and if that beam remains parallel, then this is called as a regular reflection. Okay, now this is the first type of reflection, that is called as regular reflection. Now second is irregular reflection, and as the name suggests, it is exactly opposite to that of whatever we have studied in case of regular reflection. In case of irregular reflection, what happens if the surface is rough? If the surface is rough, then that kind of reflection is called as irregular reflection. Now whenever you see any surface, like if you will see this board, then that will look very smooth, but when you will see it through microscope, then you will see this kind of irregularities on the surface. So okay, so that's why the reflection on this rough surface, that is called as irregular reflection. Now like we have defined the regular reflection in terms of parallel beam, we'll also define this irregular reflection in terms of the light rays which are falling parallelly. Here also the light rays will fall parallel on the surface, but in case of regular reflection they remains parallel, but in case of irregular reflection they are not parallel. So here one ray will go in any direction, one other direction, one in a different direction. So this is a kind of irregular reflection. Okay, now here in the series of this reflection, one more important topic we have in class 10, that is very important, that is the laws of reflection. That is laws of reflection. What is the first law? The first law states that whenever the light ray falls on a surface, then the incident ray, reflected ray, and the normal line, they all lies on the same plane. We have seen in starting the diagram which we have seen in the basics of reflection, that we have a surface. This is the incident ray, this is the point of incidence. Here we have drawn a normal line and a reflected ray. So here this incident ray, normal line and reflected ray all lies on the same plane surface at the point of incidence. This is what the first law of reflection is. Now what about the second law? The second law states that the angle of incidence will be always equals to the angle of reflection. Like here, this is the angle of incidence and this is the angle of reflection. These two angles will always remain equal. Now here you can see in this case of regular reflection, here the angle I is equals to angle R. Here this angle I is equals to angle R. Here also this angle I is equals to angle R. Now this, in case of light, this law can never be violated. लेकिन आप कह सकते हो कि in case of irregular reflection, यहाँ पर तो angle of incidence angle of reflection के बराबर नहीं हो रहा है, but here it follows the same laws of reflection, but the thing is the angles are different because of the irregularities in the surface. Otherwise, if the surface would be regular, these light rays will make the same, that is the angle of incidence will be always equals to angle of reflection, but just because of the irregularities on the surface, the light rays are making different